If you can't tell a seller what happened to the 55% who overpriced in December, you're losing listings to agents who can. I'm Bryan, president of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Properties Group. Every week, I coach an exclusive group of top producers in our coaching program called The 100. This week's session was about pricing strategy, and I asked them one question that exposed a major gap that most agents don't even know that we have. When a seller pushes back on your price recommendation, can you show them the actual data from this market? What overpricing actually cost sellers last month? Not a generic answer, not trust me, I know the market, actual proof. Most agents can't. Our agents can. And that's why they are winning listings at strategic prices while their competitors are babysitting overpriced homes for months. Let me paint you a picture of what's actually happening in the listing appointment right now. Agent A shows up with a nice presentation, says, based on the comps, I think we can get X. Agent B shows up and says, I can get you X plus 50,000. My marketing is better. You show up, you know Agent B is lying. You know that price won't work. You know the seller is going to sit for months and reduce. But here's the problem. You can't prove it. You don't have the ammunition. You have a gut feeling and some basic comps. Agent B has a big promise and a confident smile. So you either inflate your price to compete and spend the next 3 months managing an angry seller, or you hold your ground and watch them sign with Agent B. Either way, you lose. In this week's meeting in the 100, I gave our agents the ammunition they've been missing. I showed them what happened with real numbers from last month's transactions to sellers who overpriced versus sellers who priced strategically. Not just overpriced listings sit longer, the actual cost in time, in money, in lost opportunity. But more importantly, I taught them how to present this in a listing appointment, so it's undeniable. How to make it a visual, how to make it simple enough that a seller who's never looked at market data understands it immediately. How to frame it so the seller chooses strategic pricing instead of you begging them to trust you. Because here's what changes when you can do this. You stop competing on promises and you start competing on proof. Sellers don't want your gut feeling. They want proof. They want to know what happened to the last 10 sellers who listed at the price you recommended versus the price your competitor is promising. And if you can't show them that, you're vulnerable. Vulnerable to agents who overpromise. Vulnerable to losing listings you should win. Vulnerable to pricing properties wrong because you're competing instead of consulting. In the 100, we eliminate that vulnerability. We analyze our market every quarter. We identify the patterns, then we teach our agents how to weaponize that intelligence in their own business. Not just here's what happened. Actually, here's how to present it. Here's how to handle the objections. Here's how to win the listing at the right price so you close in 37 days instead of managing an overpriced disaster for months. This isn't about individual talent. It's about systematic discipline. The agents who dominate their markets aren't winging it. They're not relying on their charm or their promises. They're executing a system that's proven to work. They walk into listing appointments with data their competitors just don't have. They present it in a way that makes sellers choose strategic pricing. They protect their time, their credibility, and their sanity by avoiding overpriced listings that destroy agents' reputations. That's what we're building. Not motivation, not new ideas, systematic execution of fundamentals that separate top producers from everyone else in the market. Market intelligence, presentation frameworks, objection handling, accountability. We are doing this regularly. So here's my challenge to you. Next time a seller pushes back on your price recommendation, ask yourself, can I show them with actual data from this market what overpricing cost sellers last quarter? If the answer is no, you're guessing and you're vulnerable. If you can't show them the math on what it costs to be in that 55% bucket who reduced, you're not protecting them. You're hoping, and hope isn't a pricing strategy. I share insights from this program on this channel more often. Not the playbook, that's for the 100, but enough to make you think differently about your approach. You can subscribe if you want more. Q1 data drops in April, and if you're tired of losing to agents who overpromise, maybe it's time to build a system that lets you compete on proof instead of promise. Thanks for watching. If you can't tell a seller what happened to the 55% who overpriced last month, you're losing listings to agents who can.